you're thinking about moving to the Cincinnati area, you've probably not heard much about Clermont County. I haven't even spoken about it much on this channel, but it is certainly one that you should know about. Hi, I'm Rhonda with Comey and Shepherd Realtors. I have been helping folks find where they belong in the Cincinnati and Dayton areas of Ohio for almost 10 years now. Today, we are going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Clermont County. Now, let's first put Clermont County into perspective. It is located on the southeast side of town, and compared to Hamilton, Butler, and Warren counties, Clermont is the largest at 460 square miles. They all are in the 400s, but this is definitely the biggest. But really, where the difference lies is in population. So if we compare to Hamilton County, they had 837,000 residents, while Clermont had just 211,000. Now, let's start with the positives because there's a lot to love here. Affordability. Now, when you look at the actual numbers, it's actually kind of similar to the other four counties: 3-bedroom, 2-bath, under 2,000 square feet, average size. But the difference really comes down to the lot size, where it's definitely, if you're not in a condo, you might have over an acre or near an acre. Even though you may or may not get more house for the money, you may get more space for the money. So something to keep in mind. But also there's suburban and country living. You've got that nice blend of suburban comfort with rural charm. So if you're craving space and privacy, Clermont delivers. If you are looking to set up a homestead, Clermont is probably your best bet. There are some top-rated schools in Clermont County: Milford, New Richmond, Loveland. Those are all highly rated, and it's also a really big draw for families. But I think one of the main features is the access to nature. From East Fork Lake, Stone Lick State Park, the Little Miami Scenic Trail, and the Cincinnati Nature Center. Outdoor lovers have plenty to explore, and many times that may even include their own backyard. If you're looking for a brand new home, Clermont County is one of the few counties that has room to grow. And I think it's in part why the average sale price, it doesn't really show that it's more affordable. I do believe there's a lot of new construction happening in the area. There is a little bit going on in Milford, but places like Batavia, New Richmond, Goshen, there's spots to jump into a community, but land also very reasonably priced, depends on what it is, but I just saw a listing for 5 acres for $100,000. Property taxes tend to be lower than some neighboring counties, and that can make a big difference in your monthly payment and also add to that affordability factor. But one of the things that I do think is crucial is the zoning department is pretty easy to deal with. They are much less stressed out than Butler, Warren, or Hamilton. At least that has been my experience so far. This is really important if you're looking to build, add on, renovate, put in a pole barn, or create your homestead haven. Now let's talk about the not so great parts, because every place has its trade-offs, right? So commute times. If you work downtown, your commute back to Clermont County could be 30 to 45 minutes easy. Really depends what part of the county you are in. I saw something online that said limited public transportation. I don't know of any public transportation. You can probably get an Uber or a Lyft. It might take a bit, but that should be an option especially when there's an event going on. Now, limited amenities. Outside of Milford, Loveland, Eastgate, parts of Amelia, you might have fewer options as far as restaurants, shopping, entertainment, especially in the more rural areas. However, let me point out that Bethel, which is out there a little ways, they have a Dairy Queen. They have, I believe, a Skyline Chili. They do have some restaurants and some places to go and things to do. It's growing and it's going to continue to grow. That's the good news. And as they continue to grow, hopefully the spotty internet and cell service will also improve. It can still be a struggle in certain areas to get fast, reliable internet, and that can be really frustrating if you're working from home. There is still some older infrastructure. Some communities haven't quite kept up with road repairs or modern utilities, especially the more rural townships. But again, as some of these areas start to fill in, it will all improve. There are also fewer high-end home options. So if you are looking for luxury, there's definitely not as many options as if you were going to Indian Hill or Mason, Montgomery, those types of places. But if you're a golfer, there are some really nice golf courses in the area. There are homes nearby, may or may not be up to your criteria, but if not, there's always land that you can build on and get exactly what you want. Who is Clermont County for? Well, Clermont County is a great option for first-time buyers, growing families, or retirees who maybe want a little more space. If you love the outdoors and you want space to breathe, you don't mind a little bit of a commute, or maybe you just don't even have anywhere to go. Clermont is still seeing solid buyer demand, especially for move-in ready homes under $400,000. If your property shows well, is priced right, and has some modern updates, there's a good chance that you could see multiple offers, especially if you are a little bit closer to 275. Now, if you're in a more rural area, having maybe a little extra space, being a little more up to date, or maybe having some pole barns or extra area for hobbies and chickens and all of those kinds of things, that can make a big difference. If that home needs work, pricing and marketing are even more critical. So whether you are buying, upgrading, or selling, Clermont County has a lot to offer, and I'm here to help you navigate every single step. If you've got questions or would like to take the next step, check out the link in the description to schedule a time to talk. Thanks so much for joining me today, and make sure that you check out this video to learn more about living in Cincinnati. We'll see you next time.